At this time, I'd like to have Mr. Woods lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Amy. May I take roll when you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Marcio?
Maciel's here, present.
Maciel, sorry. It'll take me a couple meetings. Commissioner Muse?
Present.
Commissioner Padilla? Present. Commissioner Valenzuela?
Here.
Commissioner Woods? Here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to open public communications. For anyone wishing to speak on items not on the agenda this evening, please step forward. If you do so, please state your name. You have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you, Mr. Tunnell. Anyone else interested in speaking? Seeing no further interest, I'll now close public communication. The first item on the agenda is approving the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, I will accept a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Motion passes. Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Next agenda item. Staff?
Honorable Chair, Commissioners, and members of the audience. The request before you is a request for consideration of a tentative parcel map to subdivide one lot into 2 lots within the R1 single-family residential zone. Case number 1420, location 13240 Tracy Street. The applicants are Martin Estrada and Felipe Ayala. The subject is an irregular rectangular-shaped lot and is located on the southwest corner of Tracy Street and Fraser Street, and is approximately 165 feet in width and 80 feet deep, and tapers off at the corner, totaling 13,060 square feet of land area. Here's the land aerial view as well. Parcel 1 on the left will measure 73 feet 7 inches in width by 80 feet in depth, which equals to approximately 5,886 square feet. While parcel 2 on the right will measure around 91 feet 5 inches in width by 80 feet in depth, equaling to approximately 7,173 square feet. Both of these lots will satisfy the current development standards of the municipal code and will not create new deficiencies. On January 23rd, 2014, an application for a 515 square foot addition a new two-car garage onto an existing single-family residence, and a new proposed dwelling unit within the single-family residential zone came before the Design Review Committee and was tentatively approved pending compliance with conditions of approval. One of the conditions of approval is that the parcel map must be approved and all of the conditions of said map must be met and recorded prior to issuance of any building permit. Parcel number 2, where the existing dwelling unit is located, will have a new 444 square foot two-car garage and a 515 square foot addition containing a new master bedroom with the walk-in closet and a personal restroom. Parcel number 1, where there is an existing garage, will be developed into a new two-story, 2,347 single-family residential unit with a two-car garage. The new dwelling unit will contain 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. Both of the proposed developments will meet the current development standards and will not create any new deficiencies. Here are just some elevations of the proposed developments. This one will be the new development that will replace the current garage, and this will be the corner lot, which will go on this one, and they're adding around the 515 square foot master bedroom and the new two-car garage. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 1420 entitled A Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park adopting the findings of fact, approving a tentative parcel map subdividing one lot into 2 lots located in the R1 single-family residential zone pursuant to Table 152.10 in the city's municipal code. Location 13240 Tracy Street. Applicant Martin Estrada and Felipe Ayala. Case number PM 1420. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Currently, are there any questions from the commissioners to the staff?
I got a question. Is there already plans to build the second building, and including utilities and a new address? And the purpose is to subdivide it with a different address, correct? I want to know if it's correct. It
has already been approved, tentatively approved through the Design Review Committee, pending approval of the subdivision of the parcel map.
Yes, they will be separate homes with separate addresses,
Thank you.
sold separately.
Thank you.
I also had a question. From that map, right in the corner, on the left-hand corner, there's a tree, 36-inch tree, or 36-feet tree, which was supposed to remain. I passed by the property, it's no longer there. Was there proper approval for that removal of that tree?
Let me see my map here. I got it. It does. The tree actually does not meet the minimum height required to submit a tree removal application. So I'm assuming that it was not designated a mature tree by our ordinance, therefore wouldn't need my blessing.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been identified as a mature tree had you,
Should, yes.
yeah.
Got another question. Have the plans been approved by the Planning Commission already?
No, the subdivision is before you today to subdivide the properties into 2 properties. The Design Review Committee has looked at the structures to see if they conform with the city's design review, but those are not approval of the structures yet. They cannot be built unless you subdivide this property.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, once the property is subdivided, there's no chance of any quick changes of what would be built there, was there? Like, all of a sudden, there's an apartment building 4 stories high?
No, these are R1 zoned lots, and the design review has already been approved, and so
That's what we would get, is right there.
yes, that's
yeah.
what you would get.
Right. Yeah, the only objection I would have had would have been the lot size, and there seems very adequate lot sizes, so, looks good.
Quick thing though. Looking at the, since there's going to be a 1 2-story home and 1 1-story, is there other multiple 2-story homes along that street as well, other than that being the only one there when it's finished?
I haven't looked at this design review in a while, to be honest with you. There are, typically when Baldwin Park was built, you know, when a majority of the homes in Baldwin Park were built, they were built right after World War II, and they were small, single-story. You see pockets of 2-story homes in certain areas, and you do see sometimes a 2-story home amongst single families around it. One of the things that we do, because there can be impacts associated with that, is currently we have code requirements that step back the second story on homes so that there's less of the neighbor sitting there, you know, at the 5-foot lot line looking down. There's a greater setback. We look at window placement. If we don't want to see a big window that's facing onto someone else's yard, things like that. There are things that we do look at to reduce the impact on single-family residential neighborhoods with a 2-story house.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
In response to your question, there are other 2-story buildings, other 2-story homes in that area. I drove by there today, and the lot size itself, my question, this is the design at which has been approved?
Yes, this has been approved by the Design Review Committee.
So they're going to be tearing, some of the structure will still remain and they'll be building around it, correct?
That is correct. And they have integrated the existing into, with the proposed addition.
Okay, I have no further questions. Any other questions from the commissioners to the staff?
Yeah, I got another question. On the property that's being divided, does the design show a wall around it or between them?
Typically, when we subdivide like this, we do require that the applicant put a block wall around the property.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none. At this point, I will open up public hearing for anyone wishing to speak on this item. Seeing no interest, I now close public hearing on this item. At this point, I will now accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
And the motion is to approve staff's recommendation, is that correct?
Correct.
Any objections? Seeing none, motion passes. Okay, next agenda item.
Thank you, Chair. This item actually is requesting that the Planning Commission elect a vice chair to serve at the pleasure of the commission. As you are aware, Chair Muse is serving as our chairman. However, you know, in case of emergency or something, we would need to have a vice chair in order to serve in the capacity should the chair not be able to. The duties, as I mentioned, of the vice chair to serve in the absence, disability, or disqualification of the chair, and then the vice chair performs all duties associated with the chair should, as I said, the chair become disqualified. So any commissioner can be nominated to serve as vice chair, and I encourage all the commissioners to take on leadership positions within the commission. So at this point, staff is recommending that the Plan Commission take nominations and elect a vice chair of the commission.
Just as a note, the bylaws indicate that there will be a reorganization it should be in our first meeting in July. Is that
Yeah, yes, we probably won't have a meeting in July because of vacation.
correct? Right.
I need one.
So at our next meeting,
Yes.
there will be a reorganization.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, at this point, I will accept nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Mr. Woods.
I'll second the motion.
At this point, we're just accepting nominations. Anyone else wishing to be vice chair? See no other interest and no other nominations. Well, Mr. Woods. At this point, vice chair. We'll now take a vote since there's only one, and we need to put that on record, correct?
Yes, let's put it on the record. He accepts the nomination, and we'll just take a quick roll
Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Maciel?
Present.
No, yes.
Yes.
In favor of
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Woods being vice
Yes.
chair or not? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Padilla?
Yes, I'm in favor.
Chair Muse?
Yes.
Ms. Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mr. Woods? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair Woods, thank you very much for your service and welcome as vice chair.
I'm trying to figure out the pay for the chair. What are you talking about? All right, welcome, Mr. Vice Chair. Now, let's go to the next agenda item.
Our next item under reports of officers is the sustainability element update. At the last meeting, the commission selected Commissioner Padilla as the representative from the Planning Commission to the city's Sustainability Element Technical Advisory Committee, and Commissioner Valenzuela is the alternate. The next meeting for that committee is on Monday, June 30th at 6 p.m. So at the next meeting, I'll have a lot more of an update as to what's going on and all that good stuff. Actually, the representatives on the committee can give that. So, you just want me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, a Metro Transit-Oriented Development Specific Plan Update. On May 27th, the city and the Arroyo Group held a community meeting on the Downtown Specific Plan. The memo that I have provided you talked about the visioning and the discussion that we had. And then at the printing of this item, the Arroyo Group was in the process of meeting one-on-one with the council members about their respective overall vision for the city's downtown area. On here, you have the next steps. I can tell you that it looks like the next community meeting for this item is going to be Tuesday, August 5th. That's what it's tentatively scheduled for right now. So, and I will provide information on that, the sooner we get to that. So on here also is the website, and then also if you Twitter or tweet or whatever that is, there's also a Twitter feed as well. The next item is the summary of the Ordinance 1290 public meeting. As our one of the individuals that spoke during public communications, we had a public meeting on June 3rd for discussion and to receive input about Ordinance 1290. I've provided you a list of comments that we had at the meeting. Staff is in the process of looking at 3 different options right now, which would be to keep it 1290 as is, to repeal it in its entirety, or to look at the applicability of 1290 in different areas, stating that it might be appropriate or portions of it could be appropriate in some areas, Other areas, not so much. So what we're looking to bring back to the, and we have this next public meeting tentatively scheduled for August 4th, is to present our results and findings relating to the 3 options above, to keep it, repeal it, or make it to define smaller areas, and then get additional comment and input. Let's see. Next item, the update on alcoholic beverage license sales. We had a very brief study session with the council. We as staff need direction on how the city council wants to proceed with alcoholic beverage sales in Baldwin Park. Any type of new alcoholic beverage sales requires a conditional use permit, which would come before the Planning Commission. However, as you all know, the majority council changed, and so we wanted to get input as to see if the direction that we had before the majority changed is still the same, if it's different, do we want to tweak it? Unfortunately, due to the time constraints we had, we could only give a little bit of information, and we were directed to come back to the July 2nd meeting. And I'm hoping at that day we'll get more direction, and then we can move forward with the conditional use permit applications that we do have in and that are pending.
Real quick question. How many do we have pending? Approximately.
6, 7. And that's a combination of both on-site sales, which would be restaurant and bars,
Right.
or off-site sales, which would be grocery stores, Walgreens, CVS, etc.
Okay, thank you.
The last item I have in here under reports of officers is our monthly report for the month of May. This details pretty much what we did in the month of May. And if anybody has any questions on any of those items, if not, I can keep going on, Chair.
Be my guest.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Verbal update on the proposed Irwindale Materials Recovery Facility. I do not have anything. However, the project planner over there has spoken to me and stated that they are trying to determine the course of action given the comments that they received on the draft EIR. I can tell you that one of the items I saw on their last agenda was that the city was going to allocate an additional $118,000 to address studies and related to the comments that they received on the draft EIR. So from that, it's my best opinion that they are moving forward with addressing the comments that they received. And then the last item that I have is update on the resumption of mining and subsequent reclamation of the olive pit. I don't have any update on that for you at this time. I believe that they're in the process, that Irwindale's in the process of putting together the draft EIR for that. And that's typically it can take a while to do that.
All right, thank you very much.
And that's all I have.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners to staff regarding the reports of officers?
Is that pit completely in Irwindale?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Any others? Anybody else? Okay. In our in one of our future meetings, and kind of overheard some discussion in regards to the Brown Act, will we be able to have Mr. Olivas give us a presentation?
Yes, I will be giving a Brown Act presentation at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, any other concerns, questions?
Quick thing on item 9 and 10, going back a little bit. Is there any way I can get some information on that, just to kind of read through it a little bit more? On the Athens and on the olive pit? Just to kind of get some information to read more and thorough onto it.
What specifically would you be looking for? Because I don't want to, give you...
Too much information.
Yeah.
Just the basics of it, pretty much.
So like the project description?
Yes.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
And what I will do, what I typically do, just so the commission is aware, if one commissioner emails me for significant information, something other than, real basic information, I email the whole commission.
Okay.
I don't operate in a bubble. So you will probably see that coming through your email at her request. Chair, I also want to remind you, those of you that have not done your Form 700s, please get those in as soon as possible, because if you don't, the FPPC will come after you and fine you. I don't want that.
And you
So
don't
just a
want to be
reminder.
giving free money.
Yes, and then also, too, if you have not RSVP'd and you would like to be recognized by the City Council at the July meeting for being a new commissioner, please let me know. You can let me know tonight, let me know tomorrow as soon as possible, so that we can make sure that we have a certificate available for you that night. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question on
Sure.
the MRF.
Yes.
Now that the water department is not going to take that land, are they going to expand the MRF?
I do not know the answer to that. They, if I recall correctly, they had 2 different site plans in their draft EIR.
With and without?
With and without.
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find those, and I will email those as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And at this point, I will accept a motion for adjournment.
One more question, please.
All right.
The Metro Transit has been postponed till Tuesday, August 5th. At what time?
I have it on here.
And the same with the redevelopment project? If I could get an hour on that one.
The Metro TOD is tentatively scheduled Tuesday, August 5th for 5:30. And the RDAO is tentatively scheduled for Monday, August 4th at 5:30 as well.
Okay. The redevelopment is scheduled to be at the Esther Snyder?
Yeah, they're both at the community center. Actually, once we get the public notices done, you'll see those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this will not be the only time we talk about it.
Okay. Again, any other questions or concerns for staff? See no further interest. Again, I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
A motion.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Any objections? Seeing none, we're now adjourned.